I breathed through the painful memory of his eyes turning black with Lalakai's dark magic. I'd been reliving it since we'd fled the bog crossroads and begun the long trek out of the northern mountains. "What happened to him?" I asked, my voice catching. That black magic rushed over him, and he'd tried to disembowel me. "I warned you that the weapon Lallakai had gifted him was dangerous. I suspected the enchantment was more than she'd revealed." That's why she didn't want him to put it into a druid tattoo, isn't it? Sealing it would have protected him from whatever the hell that magic was. My teeth ground together. Zach is injured, but if Lallakai wants to keep him as her druid puppet, she'll take care of his wounds. It'd be a waste of effort to let him die now. That was what I kept telling myself, but it was difficult to believe. Anxiety chewed at my gut, adding to the discomfort in my stomach from lack of food and water. Rikr and I hadn't had any choice but to leave Zach behind. With Lalakai's death magic, she would have killed us easily. "We need a plan," I said tersely. "We can't take on Lallakai and the Shadow Court by ourselves." "I am sadly bereft of allies after my long exile. I'm not swimming in ride-or-die friends either." I dragged my teeth over my lower lip. But the whole reason Zach went north was to find Echo. He made it sound like Echo is pretty powerful. Strong enough to crush small towns, whatever that means. And if he's Zach's ally, he might be willing to help. "A possibility," Rikr agreed. "But Echo's whereabouts are unknown, to say nothing of his condition if he did indeed fall to Isverg's poison." "I have the antidote. We just need to find him." I wrapped my fingers in Artyr's mane, not wanting to admit out loud that we had no idea where to look for Echo. "We'll figure it out. And save Zach." "Saber." A long pause. "It may not be possible to free Zach from her controlling magic." My jaw tightened and I glared ahead at the wreckage of the farm buildings. "We'll find a way." Rikr didn't reply, his silence full of cautions and concerns. He didn't voice them, and I was grateful for that. I needed hope. I needed it desperately. Zach's voice murmured in my memory, asking if I wanted him to come back to the rescue with me. Asking if I wanted him to come home with me. Asking if I wanted him in my life. And I hadn't answered him. Our sorry group trudged past the fallen buildings, charred studs sticking out like broken bones. Parked on the far side, Zach's truck looked exactly as we'd left it 3 days ago. I swung off Artyr's back, and with my feet on the ground, 1,000 new aches and pains flared to life. Tracks of dried blood ran down my arm from 3 cuts across my bicep. Similar gashes marred my thigh, and the knees of my jeans were torn out and crusted with blood. Halfway down my stomach, my shirt gaped from a horizontal tear, offering glimpses of a thin, scabbed scratch and smears of blood from where Zach had tried to gut me. Stumbling with exhaustion, I braced a hand on the truck and pulled the driver's door open. Not only had Zach left it unlocked, but he'd also left the keys hanging from the ignition. Was that a habit of his? Or had he decided not to risk losing the keys on our mountain trek? Behind the driver's seat, 2 big jugs of water were stashed, and I heaved one out with desperate haste. Twisting off the cap, I lifted the jug with both hands and swallowed a wonderful gulp of warm, plastic-flavored liquid. I was tempted to guzzle half of it at once, but I forced myself to swallow 1 mouthful at a time. With a flare of blue light, Rikr shrank into the shape of an albino hawk. He swept onto the truck's roof, his sharp raptor stare glaring down at me. "Care for the others before we leave. I will check that we are not being pursued." He didn't wait for my agreement before taking off. My gaze swung toward the 2-faced stallions waiting impatiently for me to share the water, and despite having just drunk half a liter, my mouth went dry again. Care for the others, Rikr had said, because he intended to leave them behind.